In the second expression of Gemini, from 6 to 10, we're discovering the appetite that Gemini expresses for life. And this appetite is hunger for new experience and for new knowledge, for new people, for new activities, for anything new. Having understood in the first expression freshness and how wonderful freshness is, then the appetite for more and more and more and more and more new experiences. This zest for life is what Gemini experiences next. And we begin with the Gemini's 6th degree, the drilling for oil. We go deep down into the earth, into the dark, unconscious places to discover something which is really not what you like. Oil, you can't do anything with it. But that's what we find. And we have to be curious about that and wonder what to do with oil. And then we find that we can find warmth and other features of oil. So the appetite for life is going to send Gemini into a deep exploration of what's underneath the surface. And they sometimes have this empathy, this ability to look right down, read between the words, know what's being said when it's confused or confusing, know what's being felt when there's no words to express that. There is a remarkable quality that Gemini has, that they can look beneath the surface of things. Drilling for oil. Now the 7th degree of Gemini is the old-fashioned well, which is interesting because it's also drilling for something. In this case it's water. Water, we need water immediately to drink. And we find that nature provides what we need. And we get it. We trust that if we're looking and we're looking, then we find. Seek and you shall find. So here we found the old-fashioned well. Brings up the water that we need immediately. We send down the bucket because we're looking for water. And we pull up the bucket because we've got the water. And this is an important part of what Gemini kind of represents for us. This appetite requires a trust that it will be met. A hunger for something that is never satisfied will not motivate us to continue that hunger and appetite. But nature does meet our appetite with the satisfaction of it. Now there are situations that we just cannot tolerate, and they represent an appetite for changing our feelings. It is also an expression of appetite, but it's appetite not to have this, not to have that. In other words, I don't care what else I have, I want something else. So it's an ill-defined appetite for something to change. Something's not right and I want it different. And this we can understand in Gemini as to be why they may not be seen as committed or passionate to a cause compared to other people. The fixed signs would be more so. Certainly Taurus, certainly Scorpio. Capricorn would be more so, the ambitious signs. Cancer too. So certain signs stay with things, they really do. But Gemini doesn't. It's got this sensitivity to things not being quite right, and it wants to look for some way to improve upon that. Hence, the next degree, the 8th degree of Gemini, is the industrial strike. Where, nah, that's not right, I'm not having that. And they just rebel. They are a rebellious people, I think, Geminis. And this energy of rebelliousness or refusal to accept the unacceptable is a real feature of the sign. They don't stick where they don't want to be. Now, whereas most of us enjoy the benefits from rhythm and routine and doing things the same old way, because then we have not to bring the same amount of mastery and focus and energy to life. We can actually be a bit lazy. If we know what to do today because it's what we did yesterday, then it doesn't need a lot of energy to get going. Whereas Gemini isn't really like that. everything's new, everything's fresh. It's got an appetite for newness all of the time. So in a sense, it has to reinvent the wheel day by day. And this requires a certain attitude of mind, a mastery of mind. And we're talking now about the quiver of arrows. Imagine an archer just developing the skill to such a level that he never misses, she never misses. And with Gemini, they put themselves in that role where we don't know what's going on. And we have to trust that in the moment we can kind of respond and just do the necessary thing. And that requires a certain mastery of mind. The dexterity of thinking that the Gemini mind is capable of is very impressive. It goes beyond intelligence. There's something mystical about it. And we think of Gemini as a mental sign because of its mercurial qualities, and most assuredly it is. But I think what we don't really understand is that certain qualities of mind are subtle, such as empathy. We might think of empathy as a water quality because we can feel somebody's feelings, but Gemini can show empathy by understanding someone's feelings on the level of what they would represent as logical explanation. So I think they kind of feel it on some mental level and then find the words. But anyway, Gemini's kind of open to an emotional intelligence as much as it is a mental intelligence. And mastering those two things in any moment requires this ability that an archer has with his arrows and hitting the target and so on. And that takes the mind to almost an altered state of consciousness. A highest form of controlling the mind brings about the highest form of using the mind to control circumstances. And in the 10th degree of Gemini, we have an aeroplane falling out of the sky. On the face of it, a terrible image. But it is the indication of the ability of the pilot of that aeroplane to pull out of the crash and survive. This is what Rudyard has introduced in the interpretation. So putting ourselves in a desperately difficult situation so that we can finesse it, that power of mind. And I think we can see this sometimes in a Gemini, that they put themselves in harm's way for fun, just to see if they can get themselves out of trouble. And usually they can talk themselves out of a paper bag, as they say. So the appetite for Gemini is mainly about looking for new experiences, trusting that they're going to be okay, and developing this freedom of mind and mastery of mind so that they can actually rescue themselves from any situation, which of course is a requirement if you're to show your appetite for life. If you go traveling, for example, with a backpack, you need to be able to get yourself out of harm's way. Not now and again, once in an emergency, but all of the time, because you're a moving target. And this is exactly representative of the Gemini principle of looking around for whatever else they can experience and find interesting.